So when I was younger, I had this little blue bag that I traveled with everywhere I went. And this bag became my best friend because it was always where I was at. I never knew what uncertainty would come towards me, so this bag always had to be packed with my clothes, toothbrushes, and every necessity that I need when I traveled. When I was younger and when I was born, home was on the road, basically. It was fun, but sometimes it wasn't that much fun. When my mother got pregnant with me, my paternal grandparents denied that I was my father's son due to the fact that they had a difference in age. She was 25 and he was 21. Now in my culture, that's disgraceful because the man has to be older than the woman. And to make matters worse, she was not from our tribe, the Shona tribe. Like, she wasn't even Zimbabwean, she was from Zambia. So in their eyes, she was a foreign harlot that was looking for an easy way out with their soon-to-be engineer's son. I know Lisa's probably thinking, is this boy calling his mother a harlot? I'm not. But this is the kind of atmosphere that awaited me before I even stepped foot into this world. I already lacked a belonging. Post my birth, my father went to South Africa to pursue his engineering career in a more politically stable nation. And my mother was too poor to take care of me, so she dropped me off at my paternal grandparents' house and asked them to take care of me. The same grandparents that denied that I was my father's son before I was born. Fast forward 3 years, my father had remarried and I had 2 stepsisters, one for my mother and one for my father. That's not the most interesting part of it. The most interesting part of it is they're 3 months apart. So they're born the same year in June and in September. They're my twin sisters, but they're not really. I love them both equally though. I grew to call my mother grandmother, my grandmother mother, and in my language that's Amai, so I knew her as Amai. I would see my mother on holidays, occasionally weekends, and my father would visit me maybe once a year, and if I got lucky, twice a year. In 2001, the economy got really bad in Zimbabwe, so my grandparents could no longer take care of me, and they asked my father to take me to South Africa with them. And that's the first time I met my best friend, that little blue bag. It would travel with me everywhere I went, and I kept it under my bed because for some reason I just like to wake up in the middle of the night and make sure it's over there because I didn't know what was going to happen next. Fast forward to mid-2002, I moved to South Africa, lived with my father, his new wife, and my stepsister. I continued my education in South Africa, and 2 years later, they separated due to some issues between their marriage. She took her daughter with her to her parents' house, and she left my father and I in our house, in his house. It was his house, but I still didn't feel at home. I felt out of place, I was in a foreign country, and I didn't have that many friends. And I was always a tall, skinny kid from Zimbabwe. But I was fast, so I was a track star. So that's why I coped, and I had my little best friend, the blue bag. Not too long after their separation, my father got murdered in a setup shooting by his friends, and I had to move back to Zimbabwe. After his funeral, my mother went to my grandmother and told her that she couldn't take care of me. And when she reiterated the story to me, she forgot to tell me the part where she had offered me away to them, but she lied to me and said that they refused to have me stay with her. She lied to me, but that's all right. I get it. She can take care of me. At least she could have told me the truth, but all is in the past and she's forgiven. I was in my senior year in junior school and I despised my grandparents. I stole from them, I cussed them out, I did all sorts of type of things. But my grandmother was really, really religious and she just stuck with me and she took care of me. In 2007, she passed away. And it was too much of a burden for my grandfather to take care of me alone, so I moved in with my dad's second youngest sister and her husband. The economy got worse, so throughout high school, my best friend and I, my little blue bag, would find ourselves going to boarding school, going from my dad's oldest sister's house to my dad's youngest sister's house back in Zimbabwe. The only thing that was constant was the fact that I had my little blue bag and that I was in school, and I was really good in school, which led me to the United States of America, where I came to live with my dad's youngest sister. Just to set the record straight, I'm not at all ungrateful for the welcoming or kind-heartedness that they showed me throughout the years. I extolled them for it, actually. I was always fed, I had a roof over my head, tuition was always paid for, and I was always dressed well. People didn't even know that I was basically an orphan until it came up in a class introduction or someone asked about my family. Maybe I did have parents because they were there for me whenever I needed them. So indeed, I did have parents. They're just not the traditional mom and dad. However, my one true friend was that little blue bag, because it was always there when I went from school to Zimbabwe, South Africa, Zambia, and now United States. I still have that little blue bag. It's a little old now, so I don't show it in public that much. But in this bag were items that belonged to me, and this is where I felt was home. This is where my identity was. Not too many people think that, but it's really hard to feel like you belong somewhere when you walk into a place you call home and you see everyone else's pictures but yours on the wall. Or when your room is known as the guest room too. Or when you go to family functions, you have to explain how related you are to the family that's taking care of you. Yes, I belong, but do I really belong? Thank you.